What's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again with another video for you all today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We have ourselves once again Mr. PioneerSummoner back in this mix. How we doing today, Pio?
So I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, buddy. We just got done doing our bench warmer battle series, so as you might have guessed, we love to talk shop when it comes to theory crafting, and we didn't want to go, we didn't want to call it a night without giving you guys a little bit of insight from Pio. So again, for those that saw the recent bench warmer battles, we mentioned that he's going to be a future Educate and Dominate guest. He's been recommended by a ton of members out there in the Summoners Work community as far as theory crafting goes and talking about different things. So regarding the new patch 3.2.0, we got a couple of new units, some of them that I mentioned, but a couple others that kind of came under the radar. So in addition to talk about those units, we're definitely going to give you his perspective on some potential rune builds on these units. Okay, so let's look at that first one here. My favorite. Yeah, buddy. Okay, we got ourselves Leica, the Fire Dragon Knight. The big change for this one was the Noble Blood passive, being able to have that, not being able to exceed, 35% of its max HP. What's your take on this particular unit now and potential room builds? What do you think?
So this is the unit I can talk the most about because I actually have one and I also have one built. So I've experimented with it. I think Leica is one of the winners in this patch. Like this passive is this passive buff to him is huge. Like he can't get bulldozed in like Guild War defense. So like for example, if you bring like Diomas, Leica, and one other unit that can't get copper, your team is like non-copper bulldozerable. So this is a huge buff to him. Like in all aspects in the game, like Guild War's defense, arena defense, and Guild War's offense as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. If you kind of remember when they made that change with Justice on that second skill for Chow, like I was really
Hmm.
happy for those Chow users out there, but I really feel they threw Leica under the bus, and now Leica,
Yeah.
took a stab, like got put, in the back of the line or whatever. But now with this particular change, I really feel like all the Dragon Knights are particularly equal. Obviously, you can't
Hmm.
deny Leo's passive, just a game changing kind of a passive.
Yeah,
So now I feel
Leo
like
makes it so easy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, easy mode, easy mode. So, with regards to this unit now, it cannot die in one hit. It kind of has that groggle of kind of approach to it. What's your take on the room build? Because some people are gonna be like, okay, well, since it can't get one shot, let's go crazy ham, let's go full YOLO. Is that still important, or do you feel like you still have to kind of build it in like a bruiser fashion?
I think HP is still very, very important because unlike Groggle requires 5 hits to kill, I believe. Leica only requires 3 hits to kill because it's 35%. So what that means is, let's say you go attack crit damage attack with 0 HP, you can still get Lucian. If a Lucian crits you twice, um, your Leica still dies. Like so, HP is still very, very important. I would build him similarly to a Camilla, like a bruiser Camilla, 25k HP minimum. I would say the minimum I would want on him, at least at like at a Guardian level, is 25k HP. You can rune him HP crit damage attack crit damage attack, just as long as you get the HP. Um, Rune build wise or like rune set wise, I feel vampire is 100% necessary. Just to because like think of it this way: he loses 35% of his health when he gets hit. And then he revenges you, and then he attacks again, and you heal all the way back up to full. And they can't one shot you because they can only attack you in like 35% increments. So vampire is, I think, by far the best, like the best set on him.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any other build that can contest.
yep. I like it, sir. I like it. Let's take a look here. The Water Archangel Ariel. The biggest change there, the increase of the attack bar, all allies by 20%. Um, this was kind of surprising to me. I know some people were pretty puzzled about this too. Did Ariel, first off, do you think Ariel really needed a buff, or do you just
No,
think it was just kind of like,
no, no, no.
yeah,
I don't. This was like completely out of the blue. I
yeah,
don't know why Ariel got a buff. Um, and a buff this big. Like, I guess Ariel getting a buff so she could be competitive with Praha in arena defense. That kind of made sense. but this buff is huge.
Yeah. I don't know what they're doing with it. But, again, for me, I'm trying not to complain so much because I do have it, but does it really matter? Because I'm not, I don't rush at night, so it's not like I'm trying to compete, but maybe now I got something to play around with regards to Guild Wars, who knows? But with regards to this build, some of the early to mid game players, they play around with a very, very high HP, on a violent set. Maybe with a little bit of resistance in there, like an Adore or whatnot. With regards to PvP, top end arena, people were playing around with on a double Nemesis Will set, trying to take
Mhm.
advantage of the kind of trap setup, so they can cut in between their opponents and get that heal off. So, with respect to the change here, I don't think the Rune build changes at all. Do you think anything
No,
changes with regards to
I
the
I
Rune
I
build?
think I think arena wise at least AD wise, will double nemesis is still king. Like this doesn't change how you would build Ariel at all. Like you build him the same way. This is just like a buff. He does what he does, but way better now.
Right, right, exactly. Cool. Let's see, what do we got next up here? I think we're on which one? The Magic Knight?
Yeah, the light magic knight, I believe.
Oh yeah, Light Magic Knight. So this is one of those that like I read, but I didn't put everything together, especially until I started looking at the actual skill set and seeing where like the harmful effects like will increase and whatnot. And I think people are definitely playing around with this unit now. I mean, this is crazy because no one really did, outside of the water one, early on, people were playing around with this
Yeah.
one. So, for those that already saw or maybe didn't catch the notes on this one because of the change, I think where we at here, the Light Magic Knight had the improved damage when it comes to Magic Surge if there's no
hmm
beneficial effects, and then
hmm
that passive being able to remove
That passive.
beneficial
Oh,
effects.
that's
Yeah,
such a good passive.
pretty darn strong here. So, and that passive, the third skill, it even though it's a passive, it can be skilled up so that you can have 100%
hmm
harmful effect on that. Overall opinion on this unit and room builds. What do you think?
I feel it's too early to say that she's godlike, she's amazing, but I think this is a very good buff. I don't have one. I really want one to test and play with it, but I think she's very good. Like she's very good right now.
Yeah, I was thinking about all the other buff strippers like the Light Joker and we got the Light Briny Magician now.
Mm,
Um, Considering the fact that her like it was to me I was initially thinking oh do I really want to build her because I actually pulled her. I do have her, so I would love to do some testing, at least for the bench warmer battles, do some testing. But when I think about the other units that I already have and buff movers and whatnot, I was thinking, should I really build it? But the fact that her first skill has that AOE attempt, and then
Yep.
whatever unit that it focuses on can remove, has the potential to remove three beneficial effects.
Yep.
That's pretty darn strong. So, you're still thinking like a despair set on this particular unit?
I feel despair. If not, she doesn't do enough. I feel despair is necessary.
Hmm.
Uh, on Iris, is that her name? I believe it's Iris. Yeah, I
I think
feel
it's Iris.
I feel despair is necessary. Revenge, like so I think despair is a must. The question is revenge or will. So that one I think requires a bit of like testing and playing around. I guess if you
Hmm.
go revenge, it requires you to be very very tanky. Like 30k upwards. Um, and if you go will, it allows you to play with your stats elsewhere. Maybe try and sneak
Hmm.
in more damage wise. Like since it got a damage buff, maybe you can go slightly hybrid, like 20 plus ish k HP, and then like the rest go into damage. That's what I from reading at least. I need a lot of these monsters, especially like the new ones. I feel you need to test and play around with before you can actually determine what the best build is. But this is what I think is the best, at least from like just reading.
Right, right. And as far as the top units out there, um, even though the Water Phantom Thief was a pretty big mention in this lineup here, I don't think this is one that really needs like too much talk about because I don't think the rune builds necessarily change.
Yeah, you build him still exactly the same.
Yeah, still same builds. Let's see.
But
So yeah, Fire Anubis there. The big change here looks like. the what do we got here? That damage increase on the Soul Devourer.
Hmm. And if you scroll somewhere below, because all the Anubises got awakening effects, so it's his Pierce Soul skill upgrades when you awaken it.
Right. So now it attacks the enemy 2 times at a surge HP recovery for 2 turns, and it
And
increases
it's
according to your attack. Is it attack speed?
speed, attack speed, yeah, it cut off.
Yeah, because
Yep.
it cut off there. Yeah. So right on, right on. Yeah, I'm interested to see what people do with this because I think people were already building this one because of that passive that provided
That
that
passive
shield.
shield.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty unique. So, as far as this particular change goes, and now we have an ability that's increased according to the damage or the attack speed. Do you still feel like the same build is going to be, the recommended one for the community out there, depending on how they're building, or do you think like this new change is gonna make people want to go ahead and build it differently?
I think this build will diversify the ways you can build. Kamun. I forgot how. I don't know how to say
Yeah,
his name.
Kamoon,
It's like
Kamoon. I
yeah,
I don't know how you
Kamun.
pronounce it officially, right? But that's how you spell it, Kamoon. It's close
But
enough.
yeah, because I feel the full tank way is still very viable. It's still very
Hmm.
good. But I can also see people going like the tanky bruiser HP crit damage HP route. I think both are fine. It will also like diversify. Like when you see one on like Guild Wars defense, because I think this is a Guild Wars defense monster. You won't um it'll be like kind of when you see it, you won't be sure. Like, is this going to do a lot of damage or is this going to be a fire arena? Because it isn't. It can essentially be a fire arena,
Hmm.
except instead of putting the shield on herself, he can like put the shield on whatever ally that has the lowest HP.
Right.
So it
But with
will
regard,
you can build it differently, but you can also still build it the same, and both should work. I think.
right. But the shield now it definitely doesn't compare to the arena, right? Arena's shield, even though it got nerfed a while back, it's still going to be the stronger one out of.
Yeah, yeah. Rena shield is still going to be the stronger one.
Right. Yep. I think probably that it's funny because even though the changes were made on the skill, I think the most unique thing um, was that leader bonus. Am I right? The is it was it him that got
Mhm.
the 24%?
He got the 24% speed leader skill in Guild Wars, and
Yeah.
that's actually crazy. To me,
Right.
that's crazy. Like speed leaders are so good, and like if you look at speed leaders skills that you can use in Guild Wars defense, you have Sierra, you have Galleon, and you have Gemini. That's it. And speed is like one of the most, I guess, important stats or important like yeah stat in the game. So like just the fact that he gets a speed leader is it's huge.
Right. Do you? I mean, you just kind of brainstorming right now. I know we weren't thinking about this one, but consider the fact that it does have a speed there. What kind of composition? If you had the choice to build any kind of composition with this particular unit, what do you think it would be and why?
So I would build it in a bruisery-ish team. Uh, this unit is it's very easy to build this unit out of bulldozer range. Like I was hitting Sem Mao in Guild Wars last night. They had two people with Fire Anubis on defense. My bulldozer actually is I would say it's pretty decent. It hits 19.3 to 19.5 per hit, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
um close to like slightly under 40k, and it didn't kill both the Kumoons. So um this unit helps it be copper bulldozer, which is one of the one of the most key things in building Guild War defense. So I think I'll try and build like a tricore, like a fire, water, wind team.
Mm-hmm.
Kumun, maybe Orion and Ritesh, maybe.
Interesting.
That
Yeah.
the team shouldn't get Lucianed, and if you try and Lucian it, the Kumun will probably kill you. You can't get copper bulldozer.
Yeah. And like I said, every single turn it gets that shield. So even if somebody gets relatively hurt, and then maybe your Ritesh's heal's not up, you still got that passive
Yep.
is just gonna kind of give you a little cushion there. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to play around with
And
this one.
the branding does more than more than
Yeah.
you think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, branding is OP. Anybody that doesn't use
Yeah.
branders in their Rift of Worlds or anywhere out there, I mean, it's strong. So having the opportunity to now play around with it in a PvP competition is really good because generally people kind of ignore it. I think we see it a lot more in PvE than PvP, but
Hmm.
I think it definitely needs a place in PvP. Let's see. What do we got here? So next one up is probably one of your most exciting units,
Oh yeah.
outside of Leica. There, we got ourselves Light Anubis. So, tell me a
Anubis.
little bit about this unit and why you feel it's so good, and then the room builds for it.
So the light Anubis is actually amazing. You can do so many things with it. Um, I guess I'll start with PvE. So this monster is going to be king of R5. It's his first skill got buffed, so it does both armor break and heal block in one skill. Like two debuffs, armor break and heal block in a skill. So like if you ruin it double revenge, that's debuffs, that's contribution. And I believe he brands on second skill, so more debuffs. And his third skill is just nice. It heals, it cleanses, and a revive. The revive normally doesn't really come into play in R5, but I mean just the first two skills, especially the first skill where he can armor break and heal block in one skill. I think that's crazy. So for R5, I would ruin him speed, HP, defense in a double revenge, triple revenge, whatever you can manage. That's for the R5 build. But this unit, okay, I was hitting Hypnotic Nick in arena this morning. I was helping him test a new AD with Amarna, and he ruined his will double nemesis or will nemesis something, and so I brought my slow cleave team. Alicia, Okeanos, Triton Galleon. My Triton missed buff strip on his Amarna. I was able to cleave his entire team and leave his Amarna at like I don't know 10 HP or something. It got a turn and it
Hmm.
revived his whole team, and then I lost.
Oh, that's
So
crazy. So it's
I
it. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I like how Nick built that team. Like
Yeah,
it was really good.
yeah, and it kind of seems like if he does put it in that perspective, if you don't go for it, if you don't go for it, you're gonna have to deal with that, revive, all day. But if you do go for it, people are gonna build it in a very tanky, resistancy kind of fashion. So it's just gonna be just a
Yes.
pain in the butt to knock out.
Yes.
Reminds me some of the mollies that I see out there on in Guild War Defense and whatnot. Like they're such a pain. Like 40k HP, max resistance or whatever. Like you just want to slap it in the face and you're like now like I mean obviously like
like
everyone's doing
like
it, but yeah, like it. If you had like a great, if you didn't, you're just sitting there, just like, oh my god, I can't stand this stupid passive. So
um
yeah,
it says over here it removes all harmful effects on allies, and it recovers their HP by 30% each. Apparently, according to a post on Reddit, when it says recovers the HP by 30% each, it means Amarna's HP, not each unit's HP.
right. That's a
So
good thing to
that's
point out.
actually, if you build this unit like triple HP or speed HP, that's a huge heal. So
Hmm.
that's one thing to note as well. The heal, his heal is actually huge.
Right, and I think that's a great thing to point out when it comes to Rift of Worlds. A lot of our teams, in the late to end game, we're trying to do what we can to bring more DPS to the mix, and some of these DPS are
Mhm.
relatively squishy, or we're running them on the front line with good defense but low HP. So, utilizing a unit that's going to bring a flat heal versus a percentage-based heal is extremely strong.
Mhm.
So, definitely something to consider if you do have it. Now, of course, a lot of us don't have this unit. I know I got a slap in the face on my first patch, Monster Battle because people were like, "Hey, we're talking about the Light Anubis one." I was like, "Yeah, it's a great unit, but it's one of those things that most people didn't have." So I was like,
Yeah.
But obviously now it's just the talk of the talk, so it got to be mentioned here for
I,
the two
I
percent of
actually have
players.
I actually
for
have two
the
or three friends who have Amarna, so they're
it,
so excited.
it's funny because yeah, it's like the 2% of people out there have it, and then now when we get it out there, people are talking about it's like, oh yeah, I got one too. I'm like, oh, I got one too. It's like, what? Like, where's it been all this time? Where you been? So, but yeah, I think overall the kit is really darn strong, and it makes me. I ain't gonna lie, Comtos. It makes me want to rage some of the little L and D pack every now and again because I still need
Yeah.
Wadam and all those other units. So, but right
Same.
on, right on. I'm trying to think here as far as this list goes, and potential room builds for somebody. Is there any other unit that you can think of that you wanted to mention?
That is the Wind Mermaid
Yeah,
that we
buddy.
see.
The dark horse here. The one
Yeah.
that's been in the back of the bus for how many months now has now come up to the front of the line. Here we go.
I believe she was even a Hall of Heroes at one point
She
that no
was.
one
Yeah, she
farmed. Yeah.
was. Yeah, she was. She was. So,
Yeah.
um, what's your take on its potential rune build now? Looking at its kit,
Swift. I,
Swift.
because you remove debuffs and then you increase. It's kind of like Sekhmet.
Segment right. Yep. Yep.
Think of it like a wind Sekhmet.
Hmm.
So, I guess this unit, in a sense, kind of counters like some P-Samas or like
Hmm.
Theomars. You know, you can one-shot them now.
Yep.
You like it's from at least from how I'm seeing this. This is a win Sekhmet, and Sekhmet is I rate Sekhmet like a top tier monster, an S tier monster. So
Yeah.
if this is anything like Sekhmet, well, I guess this will still be slightly worse because Sekhmet's second skill is also crazy. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think this is gonna be good.
Yeah, when it comes to the offensive side, I really feel good about it. When the defensive side for like Guild Wars stuff like that, I don't know if it's going to be too strong because I think it's going to be exploitable. I think people are
Yeah,
going to set up, water-based monsters that
they're gonna
potentially
just bring
don't
the arenas, you know.
right to bring the arenas or whatever arenas, tractors. It really doesn't matter, something random like that where they can just kind of soak it up and
Yep.
not worry too much. So I definitely like it for the aspect of the offensive side, but defensive side, I'm not too shabby about it. Like, at least with the segment, that for some of those compositions out there that people were playing around with, teams that brought elemental diversity, um, they could deal with like Sekhmet can go for those win based units. They're obviously going to be bringing certain win based units to take out whatever composition they're bringing. Like Sekhmet, like when I think of Sekhmet, some of the compositions I've seen have been like Ciara Sekhmet X, where X is like a water based unit,
Yeah, like
or something of the
Camilla
sort.
or Chow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, exactly. So, like either way, Sekhmet was in a perfect place because the opponent always tried to bring something to take out like a heavy bruiser water based unit, and so if
Yep.
that wind based unit was going to be the one to focus on the water based unit, Sekhmet had the potential
Sekhmet's
to
gonna
screw it up.
reset it. Yep.
Yep. So right on. Well, I think that's pretty much it, man. Is there anything else you wanted to mention with regards to these patch notes and potential rune builds?
I mean, I'll have to say the Light Archangel is looking really good. I don't know if that buff. I mean, it's gonna make him more obnoxious to kill, especially in like Trial of Ascension. I don't know how much of a pain this will make him in arena defense. I think it's still gonna be the same. Like increasing
Yep.
defense just means that Lucian still doesn't care. But
Lucian gives no fucks. Yeah.
yeah, maybe in Guild Wars it might. It just makes him more annoying. I don't know how much of a change this is going to make to the monster because Light Archangel always has been annoying to hit. So
Right.
it's going to make
Right.
him slightly more annoying, I guess. Oh, one big thing to mention actually is Freya got buffed.
Oh my God! How
Contours
did we
didn't
forget about Freya?
mention it. Contours didn't mention, so
Dude,
it's not in any patch notes.
the
Contours didn't
silent
mention
buff.
it. Yeah,
The,
Freya just randomly got like a just an added effect to her passive where it's like
yep.
revives an ally with 40% HP, and
Yep.
skill activates itself automatically when an ally dies or something like that. And like I was looking through because Freya was one of the monsters that I want because I don't have, and I looked through her kit because someone on Reddit mentioned it, and she got buffed.
Yep.
That was surprising. Yeah,
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
that's it.
And I think that particular that particular build kind of solidified that whole. When I was looking at Ariel, like what are they doing at that? And I think Comtos is really trying to, even though I didn't think it was necessary for Ariel, I really think they're trying to interrupt that typical, pretty much meta that they kind of got going on right now. Try to make it, harder for those opponents on the offensive side to deal with certain defenses here and give people a new perspective.
Mhm.
I've actually had I'm actually in a couple of different private groups and people talking about it. I've seen some top end players, well respected players or influencers out there in the community that have really, put out their humble opinion, and it was not in the best of, they didn't put it out there. How do I say? They put it out there and they weren't too happy about it. And when I look at it, while it may suck because oops.
Ooh.
I think I just, I think I just dropped the group here. You can send me another invite.
Mhm.
While I can understand the frustration that it's going to make things harder, at the end of the day, to me, the hard is what makes it great, and they're top end players, and they can, just like anything when it comes to the meta, they find a new meta, they can conquer it. It's no big deal. So, as much as I hate to admit, things changing for the worse on our end, if it does happen that way, it is what it is. But I like change. If this game was stagnant, all day, it's just going to be boring. You got to mix it up.
Mhm.
So, all right. Well, I think that's pretty much it. As always, thank you again, Pyle, for coming on board and
No
giving us your
worries.
insight on this one. I appreciate it, sir.
Anytime.
All
Thanks
right.
for
All
having
right.
me.
Yeah, no problem. And so for again, guys, for those that don't know, PioneerSummoner is a streamer and YouTuber. Please check the links on the top right. Let me go ahead and point it this way on the top right, so you can go ahead and check out his YouTube channel. Show him your love and give him a follow over there. Subscribe to him. I really would appreciate it. All right. That
Thanks.
is it, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It's your boy Childish and Pio with Childish Plays checking out. Take care, and we will see you next time, guys. We're out.